The robotics world continues to boil with activity. Some robots are being taught to walk with a moon-like gait. Others are trained to use rocket launchers. Some attach robotic arms to boats, while alumni of Boston Dynamics have even built a robo-bike that can jump and do flips. But the real breakthrough happened in China. There, a robotic head with incredibly realistic human facial expressions was created. The Hangzhou-based startup Ahad Form presented a humanoid head that blinks, turns, and expresses emotions almost like a living person. 30 artificial muscles provide smooth facial movements, while eyes with built-in cameras recognize faces and read the emotions of people nearby. The secret of realism lies in the combination of AI algorithms with bionic actuators that operate quietly and energy efficiently. In the video, the robot looks around with light curiosity, and it appears so natural that it triggers the uncanny valley effect when a robot is almost, but not quite, human. The company is developing a line of humanoids called Real Elf with pointed ears and plans to bring their intelligence to a human level. The founder predicts that in 10 years, robots will be almost indistinguishable from humans, and in 20 years, they will be able to fully replace human labor. Unexpectedly, Samsung has announced a new screen privacy technology, a smart anti-peeping protection built directly into the display. The technology operates at the pixel level, and unlike conventional anti-spy films, it should not cause eye strain. Most interestingly, the smartphone will be able to hide not the entire screen, but only specific elements, notifications with banking data, private messages, password input, and other sensitive information. You will see everything normally, while a person behind your shoulder will only see black censored areas. Development took about 5 years, and it is a standalone hardware-software solution. So far, Samsung has only shown a few promotional videos and promised a release in the near future. According to rumors, the first model with this feature will be the Samsung Galaxy S26, and if this is confirmed, it will truly be one of the most practical screen innovations in recent years. Meanwhile, Razer has unveiled Project Ava, a desktop AI speaker with a live 3D avatar inside. This is not just a voice assistant, but a visual character that sits on your desk and literally looks at you. Inside the cylinder, there is a small display with an avatar about 14 centimeters tall. The device has a camera, microphones, and eye tracking, so the character sees the user and the screen, reacts to movement and facial expressions, and maintains eye contact. Ava can give tips in games, read guides, chat, and help with everyday tasks. At the moment, the AI is powered by Grok, but by release, Razer promises support for other neural networks. At launch, there will be 5 characters, including the signature Ava, the anime girl Kira, pro gamer Faker, and others. Sales will start in the second half of 2026. The price has not yet been disclosed. The company Looky has unveiled the wearable AI camera Looky L1. Its idea is quite unusual. It is a camera that you do not need to turn on and off, or spend hours editing footage afterward. You simply wear it on your clothing, and it records everyday life on its own and automatically assembles vlogs from it. The gadget weighs just 32 grams, is protected against water and dust to the IP67 standard, and looks like a small pendant. The camera is wide-angle at 109 degrees, shoots video in 1080p, photos in 4K, and includes stabilization and HDR. Sound is handled by 3 microphones with noise reduction, and a built-in speaker allows voice interaction with the AI. Interestingly, the camera does not record continuously by default, but in short fragments, for example 5 seconds per minute. Thanks to this, the battery lasts up to 9 to 13 hours. The AI then analyzes the recordings, finds key moments, and automatically compiles a story of the day. All data is stored locally on 32 gigabytes of memory. Nothing is uploaded to the cloud without the user's permission. In China, the device costs around 1,500 yuan, and it looks like another attempt at the smart camera market, but this time with real AI rather than endless recording of everything indiscriminately. Moving on to other news. Tesla has announced the discontinuation of the Model S and Model X. The flagship EVs are being taken off the production line to make room for manufacturing humanoid Optimus robots. According to Elon Musk, the company is shifting its focus toward AI and robotics. Once remaining inventory is sold off, the Fremont factory will be retooled for robot assembly, with their release expected in 2027. The reason is pragmatic. The combined share of Model S, Model X, and Cybertruck accounted for only 2 to 3% of sales, while almost everything else comes from Model 3 and Model Y. In effect, Tesla is betting that its next flagship is not a car, but a robot. Nearby in China, the world's first humanoid robot store has opened. It showcases robots for business and for personal use. The store, called Robot Mall, occupies 4 floors with a total area of about 4,000 square meters. It features more than 50 brands and 7 key robot categories, including medical, bionic, humanoid, and industrial models, as well as robot animals and robot athletes with whom visitors can play basketball, football, or chess. Next to Robot Mall, a restaurant has opened where visitors are served by robots, bartenders, waiters, and even chefs. A restaurant representative says the venue serves as a testing ground for new robots and a showcase of their capabilities in real-world conditions. In 2025, China accounted for 2/3 of all robot patent applications worldwide. Over the year, 556,000 industrial robots were produced there. The country remains the largest robotics manufacturer on the planet. With the advance of the artificial intelligence era, the world's largest technology corporations have entered a new and much harsher phase of the race for the future. And today, the focus is no longer simply on smartphones or laptops, but on creating entire device ecosystems in which AI becomes the central element of everyday human life. According to several authoritative industry publications, including Bloomberg, The Information, and Nikkei Asia, giants such as Apple, Samsung, Xiaomi, and a number of Chinese tech conglomerates have in recent years been investing billions of dollars in the development of fundamentally new product lines aimed not at classic smart functionality, but at the constant presence of artificial intelligence in daily life. However, an unexpected twist for the market has been that, according to insiders, a company that stood at the origins of the modern AI revolution is becoming increasingly active in this race: NVIDIA. Sources close to supply chains and internal R&D divisions claim that NVIDIA is currently developing several experimental consumer devices in parallel, directly related to generative AI, computer vision, and personalized neural networks, although most of these projects remain at an early, closed stage and far from public announcement. One exception, according to contacts at analytical centers in the US and Asia, is a specific product that is reportedly viewed internally as a potential turning point for the entire consumer electronics market. This concerns the world's first full-fledged AI device for the home, which formally belongs to the television category, but functionally goes far beyond the traditional understanding of this gadget. According to insiders familiar with the project concept, NVIDIA is working on a device that combines an advanced display, an RTX-class computing platform, always-on local AI, and deep integration with cloud-based neural networks, turning the television not just into a content screen, but into an intelligent center of the entire home. Sources say such a TV will be capable of analyzing user behavior, adapting the interface and content in real time, acting as a personal assistant, a smart home hub, and even partially replacing smartphones and computers in everyday scenarios, from work and learning to entertainment and communication. According to leaks, NVIDIA is betting on local data processing using its own AI chips, which should ensure minimal latency, a high level of privacy, and a fundamentally new user experience unavailable in current smart TVs from Samsung, LG, or Sony. Several sources in Asian manufacturing supply chains claim that a first working prototype already exists and that the company is considering a closed demonstration for partners in the second half of the year, which indirectly aligns with NVIDIA's growing activity in the consumer AI segment and the expansion of its home AI team. If this information is confirmed, the television market could face its largest shift in decades, as traditional industry leaders risk losing their advantage if NVIDIA is the first to offer a truly intelligent next-generation device. Notably, according to the same sources, Apple is also working in parallel on its own AI-oriented television device, relying on the Apple Intelligence ecosystem and vision-related developments. But analysts say its project remains at a more cautious stage and is tightly bound to a closed ecosystem. As a result, an extremely intriguing situation is emerging in which two companies with fundamentally different philosophies, Apple and NVIDIA, could almost simultaneously approach the creation of a device capable of changing the very role of the television in human life, transforming it from a passive screen into an active participant in everyday processes. Experts note that if NVIDIA does decide to make a public announcement and manages to realize the stated potential, this could mark the beginning of a new era in consumer electronics and deal a serious blow to the positions of traditional manufacturers that have defined the rules of the game in this market for decades. Before you is one of the most unusual drone experiments that has literally blown up the internet. In Chengdu, in southwest China, engineer and tech blogger Fan Shisan assembled a swarm of flying blade drones that can lift into the air and follow the movements of their operators' hands. Each blade is essentially a narrow quadcopter with propellers integrated into the body, allowing it to hover and maneuver stably. Control is carried out through a gesture tracking system. A simple hand movement is enough for the blades to rise, form patterns, or change direction. What looks like a scene from a fantasy or kung fu movie actually demonstrates the development of real-time synchronized control of groups of unmanned drones without traditional controllers or interfaces. This is not just a flashy visual trick. Such technologies are closely tied to the evolution of coordinated autonomous drone systems capable of acting as a unified network. Fan's experiment shows how engineering imagination and modern control systems can create not only practical industrial or military applications, but also striking visual effects that raise questions about the future of cooperative unmanned systems. Asus and Xreal have made AR glasses for gamers that are positioned as a portable esports display. A virtual OLED screen appears in front of your eyes, perceived as a 171-inch display and operating at up to 240 Hz. This is critical for shooters and esports. The resolution is full HD. The field of view is about 57 to 59 degrees. This is not a VR headset but true augmented reality glasses. The image floats in front of you. It can either be fixed in space or attached to your head. You cannot move within the scene, only rotate. The package includes the ROG control dock. Through it, the glasses connect to a PC, Xbox, smartphones, and Steam Deck. At the same time, the system recognizes them as a regular monitor with no additional load. The release is expected closer to summer. The price has not yet been announced. Google, following Samsung, is also creating its own lineup of AI gadgets. The first device was the Samsung Galaxy XR, a VR headset priced at $1,800. A direct response to Apple Vision Pro, but on the Google platform. The headset works paired with an external power bank module and is tightly integrated with Gemini. The features are new but without a revolution, more like a solid foundation. Next comes Project Aura, a joint development with Xreal. This is essentially Galaxy XR, but in the form of bulky glasses. The glasses connect via cable to a battery module and provide a 70-degree field of view. The key point is that any application created for Galaxy XR works on Aura without modification. Why does Google need this? Tourism, museums, education, situations where wearing a headset feels strange, while glasses make sense. But the most interesting part is the AI glasses. They look almost like a regular frame. One lens contains a mini display. They work via a smartphone in your pocket, are controlled by gestures or voice through Gemini, and the interface is literally extended Android notifications, Mini Player, navigation arrows, Uber notifications, YouTube music. And yes, there is iOS support. Google confirmed that the glasses will work with iPhone via the Gemini app. Privacy has also been considered. A physical recording switch. a pulsing recording indicator, and camera lockout if someone tries to cover the LED. The glasses are being developed together with Samsung, Warby Parker, and Gentle Monster. While some are creating realistic heads, others are already assembling full-fledged companion robots. The cutest robot in the world, GR3, has been unveiled, and it also turns out to be the most emotional. Robotics released a large promo video of its charming humanoid, and it is impressive. At a height of 165 centimeters and a weight of 71 kilograms, the robot has 55 degrees of freedom and an animated face that makes interaction with it almost natural. Unlike its industrial predecessors, GR1 and GR2, the third version is designed for social interaction. 31 pressure sensors recognize touch and make the robot respond with blinking, gaze tracking, and emotional gestures. It even has different walking styles, from bouncy to a tired mode. The full perception system combines vision, hearing, and touch, allowing it to recognize faces and respond to intonation. An important nuance: Fourier already successfully supplies its industrial robots to BMW factories and other major manufacturers. The company clearly knows how to commercialize technology and find markets. Given the pace of development and the company's commercial experience, it will be interesting to watch how quickly GR3 begins to appear in our homes. An unexpected and rather unusual collaboration is emerging in the tech market. Apple and SpaceX are discussing direct iPhone connectivity to the Starlink satellite network. According to rumors, iPhone 18 Pro may receive satellite internet access without any additional hardware. The smartphone would connect to satellites in the same way it connects to a regular cellular network. There are no official details yet, but connectivity is clearly not the only focus for Apple. Just days ago, the company completed its second-largest acquisition after Beats. Apple bought the Israeli AI startup QAI for $2 billion. The startup was developing technologies for recognizing facial micro-movements and silent voice input. All of the technology and the entire team are moving to Apple. Notably, the startup's founder, Aviad Mazals, had previously sold another of his companies to Apple, whose technologies later became the foundation of Face ID. This is Ongo. Formally, it is a desk lamp. There is no screen, no interface, no buttons, only light and movement. Ongo analyzes human presence, time of day, and behavior at the desk, adjusting the lighting automatically without commands. This is not a smart gadget in the conventional sense, but a physical carrier of artificial intelligence embedded in an ordinary interior object. This is exactly what the next stage of technology will look like. It will stop demanding attention and start working in the background. Ongo shows how AI moves beyond applications and becomes part of the space in which we live and work. This is not a revolution in lighting. It is a demonstration of what a world looks like when computation becomes invisible. In recent months, information has been increasingly discussed in tech circles that a year ago would have seemed too bold even by industry standards, but today is beginning to look frighteningly realistic. According to several insiders, Samsung is conducting closed-door development of a fundamentally new device that is described internally as the physical embodiment of artificial intelligence. This is not another smartphone, not a wearable gadget, and not even a continuation of the smartwatch lineup, but an entirely new class of devices that could potentially change the very notion of what personal electronics are. Sources claim that Samsung views this project as a possible inflection point for the entire industry, comparable to the transition from button phones to smartphones. The idea is to create a compact autonomous device that is constantly with the user and acts as a personal AI intermediary between humans and the digital world, taking over most of the functions currently performed by a smartphone. According to insiders, this direction is seen inside the company as a potential post-smartphone scenario, in which the screen ceases to be the central element of interaction and voice, context, gestures, and continuous analysis of the surrounding environment come to the forefront. Analysts emphasize that Samsung has a unique set of technical capabilities to realize such an idea. The company controls the production of processors, memory, displays, sensors, batteries, and has enormous experience in miniaturizing complex systems. According to sources, the project requires extraordinary engineering efforts, since the task is not simply to create an AI device, but to ensure autonomous operation, minimal power consumption, and near-instant response without constant dependence on the cloud. Insiders say that Samsung is experimenting with local AI models optimized for its own next-generation Exynos chips, as well as with a hybrid architecture in which part of the computation happens on the device and part in cloud infrastructure. Particular attention is being paid to privacy, which according to UBS analysts could become a key competitive advantage amid growing user distrust of large technology platforms. Rumors suggest that the company has already assembled several working prototypes that are being tested in closed laboratories in South Korea and the US, and an internal deadline envisions a demonstration of a prototype by the end of the current year, even if only as a closed showing for partners and investors. If this information is confirmed, Samsung could become the first major corporation to bring to market not just AI features, but a full-fledged AI gadget as an independent category. Experts note that such a move would pose a serious challenge to the entire industry, since if successful, it could make smartphones redundant for most everyday scenarios, leaving them only niche functions. This is why analytical reports increasingly use the wording of a potential knockout for giants such as Apple and Xiaomi, which for now are betting on the evolution of existing form factors. Industry sources note that if Samsung truly manages to be the first to show a working prototype, it would deliver a powerful psychological and strategic blow to competitors, forcing them to urgently revise their roadmaps. Microsoft has unveiled its own AI chip called Maya 200, which the company calls the foundation for a new industrialization. The chip is designed from the ground up for artificial intelligence workloads. Maya 200 will first appear in Azure data centers, where it will be used to train new versions of ChatGPT as part of the $500 billion Stargate project. And Maya is only part of the strategy. In parallel, Microsoft is developing its own Cobalt CPU, the Majorana quantum processor, and custom cryptographic chips. In short, Microsoft is no longer just a customer of third-party accelerators. The company is building its own silicon stack to control AI infrastructure from hardware to models. We move on to other news from the world of high technology. While most companies are only promising a revolution in humanoid robots, Matrix Robotics is showing not a concept, but a nearly finished product. Matrix 3 is not a show robot and not an exhibition mannequin. It is a next-generation humanoid, designed from the ground up for real work in the human world, with proper proportions, natural movement kinematics, and an architecture built for continuous learning. Its design allows it not just to walk or hold objects, but to adapt to space, understand task context, and act autonomously. Matrix 3 prioritizes scalability over spectacle. Such a robot can be a clone of thousands of others learning simultaneously. And this is where both the main fear and the main intrigue lie. If systems like this begin to be deployed at scale, we will for the first time face not individual machines, but an entire digital working class. Matrix 3 is not the future in 20 years. It is a signal that it is already beginning. Razer also announced over-ear headphones with built-in cameras and an AI assistant that effectively replace smart glasses. The headset features two wide-angle cameras, near-field and far-field microphones, and a Snapdragon processor. The headphones see everything around you. You can look at any object and ask ChatGPT, Gemini, or Grok what it is, how to use it, or what to cook with it. For example, you can point the cameras at a refrigerator and ask what dish can be made from what is inside. Some requests are processed locally, while more complex ones are handled by connecting the headphones to a phone or PC. For now, Project Motoko is a concept. Object recognition is still unstable, and the device cannot be purchased. The price is expected to be slightly higher than Razer's current top models, which cost around $400, and the release is planned for later this year. The company Robiant has unveiled a versatile assistant, the humanoid robot R1, designed to perform real human tasks in the physical world. R1 is a human-like robot about 175 centimeters tall and weighing around 110 kilograms, equipped with approximately 34 degrees of freedom, allowing it to perform complex movements and tasks close to what a human can do. One of R1's most impressive abilities is cooking. At a recent IFA exhibition in Berlin, the robot was demonstrated in action in a kitchen, from selecting ingredients to working with the stove and serving the finished dish. This is made possible by an advanced spatial perception system and the biomechanics AI model, which allows R1 to recognize objects, work surfaces, and manipulate them with high precision. But Robiant R1 is not just a kitchen robot. Its developers position it as a universal assistant across various fields. It can serve as a museum guide for visitors, an assistant in pharmacies and medical facilities, and potentially participate in elder care and handle everyday tasks in public spaces. Recently, the World Robot Conference took place in Beijing, China, one of the largest and most influential events in the global robotics and artificial intelligence industry. This event traditionally brings together leading technology companies, research centers, and engineers who are shaping the future of the field. The WRC exhibition area showcased a broad cross-section of modern robotics, from industrial robots and automated manufacturing solutions to service platforms, medical systems, and autonomous mobile robots. Visitors could see how new technologies are moving from laboratories into real-world applications in industry, logistics, healthcare, and urban infrastructure. One of the key highlights was humanoid robots and next-generation robotic systems. They demonstrated precise motion mechanics, advanced sensor systems, computer vision, and the ability to interact safely with humans. Robot dogs and autonomous platforms showcased operational scenarios in challenging environments, from inspection and security to assistance in service tasks. The World Robot Conference once again confirmed its status as one of the key global venues where real industry trends can be seen and where it becomes clear how robotics will develop in the coming years. In this video, we have collected the most interesting and technologically advanced solutions presented at WRC. Enjoy watching. At the World Robot Conference, Xerath Robotics presented its service robot Xerath H1, an autonomous platform designed as a practical assistant for everyday tasks. The robot is intended to handle routine and unpleasant work, such as cleaning bathrooms, washing toilets, cleaning sinks, and performing other sanitary procedures. Xerath H1 is a wheeled humanoid robot about 1.8 meters tall, equipped with 2 manipulators and an intelligent navigation system. It can independently orient itself indoors, avoid obstacles, and operate in confined spaces. The mobile base and articulated upper body allow it to perform tasks at different heights, from floor cleaning to working with plumbing fixtures and shelves. At the WRC booth, the robot demonstrated practical scenarios, including vacuuming rooms, sanitary cleaning of showers and toilets, cleaning sinks, and replenishing consumables. At the World Robot Conference exhibition, Shanghai Qingbao Engine Robot presented an updated lineup of its gynoids and humanoid robotic platforms, placing a strong emphasis on visual realism and the quality of human-robot interaction. The company's display immediately stood out thanks to highly detailed robotic heads and human-like bodies that closely replicated facial proportions, facial expressions, and neck movements, creating a strong sense of living presence. The Qingbao booth featured several gynoid models, including standalone robotic heads and full humanoid systems. The robots were able to maintain eye contact, smoothly turn their heads, respond to visitors' speech, and reproduce realistic facial expressions, ranging from neutral emotions to smiles and surprise. In demonstration scenarios, the gynoids were used as interactive assistants, communicating with guests, answering questions, presenting the company's capabilities, and showcasing how such technologies can be applied in services, education, museums, and exhibition spaces. Digital China technology once again surprised the public with its humanoid robots that looked almost alive. Realistic faces, carefully developed facial expressions, and smooth movements immediately attracted the attention of visitors to the booth. The showcased humanoid robots stood out for their high level of visual realism. Detailed skin, anatomically accurate facial proportions, and synchronized movements of the eyes, lips, and head created a strong sense of living presence. The humanoids were equipped with computer vision systems, speech recognition, and AI modules that enabled them to hold conversations, answer visitors' questions, and adapt their behavior in real time. During demonstrations, the robots responded to speech, maintained eye contact, turned toward the interlocutor, and displayed basic emotions, making interaction with them as natural as possible. At the exhibition, Astrobot presented its humanoid robot S1, an advanced AI assistant designed to perform complex household tasks. It can mimic human movements with high speed and precision, enabling it to handle tasks such as cooking, cleaning, serving drinks, and interacting with objects in its environment through sophisticated control algorithms and sensor systems. S1 features multiple degrees of freedom in its manipulators and demonstrates practical skills that make it a promising assistant for home or service scenarios. The exhibition also featured numerous robot dogs, which became some of the most spectacular and popular exhibits at the World Robot Conference. These robotic platforms literally drew crowds, showcasing not only technical capabilities, but also the entertainment potential of modern robotics. In addition to visually impressive demonstrations, the robot dogs showed practical applications. At the booths, visitors could see them patrolling areas, avoiding obstacles, recognizing objects, and responding to operator commands. Some demonstrations focused on operating in challenging conditions, simulating debris, uneven surfaces, and confined spaces where the robots moved confidently without losing stability. The exhibition also featured industrial robots. One of them was the humanoid robot Aeon from Hexagon Robotics, presented to the Chinese public for the first time at the World Robot Conference as part of the international exhibition. Aeon is designed to perform a wide range of tasks in industrial environments. It does not just stand idle, but can autonomously interact with equipment, process components, and carry out precise inspections on production lines. At the booth, the robot was demonstrated in action, performing repetitive surface checks, scanning parts, and showcasing the capabilities of its sensor system. At the Paxini booth, one of the most striking and spectacular areas was the Tora Interact show, where humanoid robots turned a technology demonstration into a fully interactive performance. Instead of static presentations, Paxini focused on movement, rhythm, and live interaction with the audience. The Paxini humanoid robots danced in sync to music, performing complex coordinated movements, torso rotations, arm motions, bends, and pose changes with precise timing. Their movements appeared smooth and confident, without sudden mechanical jerks, immediately setting them apart from the more rigid industrial humanoids. The exhibition also featured a robot barista, which drew visitors' attention by demonstrating drink service and interaction with guests. It operated within a demonstration area, carefully holding cups, pouring drinks, and showcasing precise coordination of movements while working with the equipment. In recent months, the same phrase has been heard more and more often in the tech community. Artificial intelligence is stepping out of the screen, and according to several authoritative publications, OpenAI is currently the company closest to making this transition a reality. If AI previously existed in the form of apps, chats, and services inside smartphones and computers, now, against the backdrop of explosive growth in generative models and a sharp drop in computing costs, OpenAI, according to insiders, is working on creating a first-of-its-kind physical AI device that is meant to change the very perception of how humans interact with technology. Sources close to the project say that inside the company, this product is viewed not as a gadget, but as a new platform, something between a personal assistant, a companion, and a constantly present intelligence that literally lives next to the user. According to Bloomberg, The Information, and Reuters, development of the device is being carried out under strict secrecy, by a separate team operating outside OpenAI's traditional software divisions. And a key moment was the involvement of legendary designer Jony Ive, the person who once shaped the look of the iPhone, iPad, and modern consumer electronics at Apple. Insiders claim that the philosophy of the new AI device fundamentally differs from anything seen before. OpenAI does not want to create another smartphone, another smartwatch, or another speaker, instead aiming to make AI as invisible, natural, and constantly accessible as possible, without the need to look at a screen or hold a device in one's hands. According to preliminary data, the device will be compact, wearable, or pocket-sized, without a classic display or with a minimal visual interface, where the primary interaction channel is voice, context, and the surrounding environment. Sources describe the device as a physical embodiment of ChatGPT, capable of hearing, understanding, remembering, and reacting to what is happening around the user in real time, without requiring constant commands or activations. From a technical standpoint, according to leaks, the device will include a specialized AI processor optimized for local inference, allowing some tasks to be performed directly on the device without constant cloud access, reducing latency and increasing privacy. At the same time, complex computations, content generation, and deep analysis will take place in OpenAI's cloud infrastructure, creating a hybrid operating model in which the device remains intelligent even without smartphone-level hardware. According to industry analysts, the device will feature an array of microphones with spatial positioning, elements of computer vision, and sensors that capture context, from noise and lighting to user movements and habits. This means the AI will be able not only to answer questions, but to anticipate user intentions, offer solutions before they are voiced, and gradually adapt to the owner's lifestyle. Sources emphasize that OpenAI is betting on personalization. The device will learn a specific person, their speech, schedule, interests, and communication style, and over time will become something like a digital reflection of the personality, always nearby. According to preliminary specifications, the device will operate autonomously for an entire day, using energy-efficient chips and aggressive optimization, and charging, according to rumors, may be implemented via magnetic dock stations or wireless solutions to minimize friction in everyday use. Insiders also claim that the device will be deeply integrated with other services and gadgets, smartphones, laptops, smart homes, vehicles, while not being tied to a single ecosystem, which distinguishes OpenAI's approach from the strategies of Apple or Google. Inside the company, according to the information, the project is viewed as a potential iPhone moment for the AI industry, a point after which users will stop perceiving artificial intelligence as software and begin to see it as a constant presence. Notably, leaked timelines point to a possible announcement no earlier than the second half of 2026, which indicates the high complexity of the product and a desire to bring it to a state where it can truly reshape the market rather than become just another experiment. Analysts note that if OpenAI succeeds in executing its vision, entire segments of the industry could be put at risk, from smartphones and smart assistants to wearable devices and even parts of social platforms, since a next-generation AI device could take over functions of communication, information search, planning, entertainment, and work, becoming the primary interface between humans and the digital world. Meet Memo, the robot in front of you. At first glance, Memo looks almost toy-like, small, friendly, designed for the home. It does not intimidate, does not dominate, and does not try to look human. But that is exactly where its strength lies. Memo is not a showcase robot and not an exhibition experiment. It is an attempt to embed artificial intelligence directly into everyday life, into the most personal space a person has, the home. It works 24 hours a day, observes routines, remembers habits, adapts to the family's schedule, and over time begins to understand not commands, but intentions. Memo does not replace humans physically. It replaces the need to think about small things. And step by step, we voluntarily hand over control over time, household life, and decisions. Robots like this do not arrive suddenly. They enter quietly, through convenience, care, and comfort. And it is with them that the moment begins when technology stops being a tool and becomes a constant participant in our lives. Recently, Google dropped another bomb, Project Genie. This is an experimental project based on the Genie 3 model, which can create interactive virtual worlds. It is enough to describe a scene in text or upload an image, and the AI generates an environment where you can freely move and control a character in real time. Essentially, it is a short personal minigame with basic physics, collisions, and world reactions. Access is currently limited. Only Google AI Ultra subscribers in the US can test Project Genie, and each session lasts up to 60 seconds. After that, the result can be saved as a video. It seems we are gradually approaching a world where virtual universes are no longer developed, they are generated. We move on to other news. Boston Dynamics has shown an updated atlas, and for the first time announced that the robot is going into real production. Hyundai plans to produce up to 30,000 humanoids per year starting in 2028. At first, the Atlas robot will be entrusted with simple and safe tasks, such as parts sorting and basic operations. By 2030, the robots are planned to be deployed for heavier and more repetitive work. The new Atlas has become noticeably more powerful. It has 56 degrees of freedom, rotating joints, and tactile sensors in its hands. All of this the robot clearly demonstrated on stage. The machine is also capable of lifting up to 50 kilograms, operating at temperatures from -20 to +40 degrees Celsius. The robot is water-resistant, replaces its own batteries, and learns new tasks literally within one day. The brain of the robot is AI from Google DeepMind, while computation and software are provided by NVIDIA. Unlike older versions, Atlas no longer acts according to hard-coded scripts. It sees its surroundings, analyzes the situation, and independently chooses how to perform a task. Engineer John Diz from the YouTube channel I Build Stuff has built a flying robo-umbrella that autonomously follows a person and shields them from rain. Essentially, it is a custom drone with a foldable design. Inside are a depth camera, a Raspberry Pi for navigation, and a 3D printed frame to which the umbrella itself is attached. The device tracks its owner and tries to stay directly above them in flight. Interestingly, the author showed the first version of this project a couple of years ago, when the umbrella could only fly in manual mode. Now, an autopilot has appeared. However, there is a caveat. The drone still barely keeps up with a person, and a response delay is noticeable. The author is aware of this, and is already thinking about how to reduce lag and improve tracking. Plans include refining the algorithms and achieving more precise tracking of the owner's position. The company Figure AI has unveiled Helix 02, a unified neural architecture for controlling the entire body of a humanoid robot. Previously, the arms, legs, and torso were controlled by separate systems, which caused any whole-body movement to break manipulation accuracy. Now, the entire body is managed by a single architecture. According to company's engineers, switching to the new architecture made it possible to remove around 109,000 lines of code responsible for motion coordination. In the demo, the Figure 03 robot fully autonomously loads a dishwasher, performing 61 sequential actions without manual tuning or remote control. Low-level motor control is handled by the System 0 network, which has only 10 million parameters and was trained on more than 1,000 hours of human motion data. Helix 02 directly links vision, language, and action. The robot understands the scene, remembers what it sees, accounts for tactile feedback, and adjusts grip force whether it is handling fragile ceramics or slippery glass. It even uses its hips and torso to close drawers when its hands are occupied. The company calls this the most complex autonomous household scenario ever demonstrated by humanoid robots, and an important step toward their real-world use at home and in industrial settings. In recent months, the tech community has increasingly been discussing a topic that until recently seemed almost forgotten. Apple is once again returning to the idea of expanding its product lineup beyond familiar smartphones, laptops, and wearables. According to several sources close to the company's supply chain, Apple has indeed entered an active phase this year of working on its own television, the first full-fledged TV with a screen under the Apple brand, rather than just another version of Apple TV. Bloomberg analysts write about this cautiously, emphasizing that the project had long been in a frozen state inside the company, but has now received the green light at the top management level. The key feature of this device is deep integration with artificial intelligence, not at the level of marketing claims but as the foundation of the entire product concept. This is about a TV that does not simply display content, but analyzes user behavior, habits, emotions, and reactions to what is happening on the screen, and adapts the interface, image, and sound in real time. According to a former Apple engineer whom journalists spoke with unofficially, the company views the TV as the next smart home hub, where AI will act as the connecting link between iPhone, Vision Pro, HomePod, and the HomeKit ecosystem. Another aspect that draws particular interest, which no one has officially confirmed yet, but is increasingly discussed behind the scenes, is a possible transparent screen. Insiders emphasize that Apple is closely studying existing developments from competitors, including transparent OLED panels from LG already used in commercial displays and concept TVs, as well as prototypes from Xiaomi and Samsung shown at CES and IFA. In particular, the partially transparent LG Signature OLED TV has become a kind of industry benchmark, proving that the technology has moved beyond science fiction. However, sources claim that Apple does not intend to simply copy competitors' approaches, but is working on its own interpretation of the idea, where transparency will be dynamic rather than constant. The screen will be able to become fully opaque during content viewing and partially transparent in standby mode, turning into an interior element. According to supply chain analysts, the company is experimenting with a multi-layer display structure in which the level of transparency is controlled by software, while AI analyzes room lighting, viewer position, and even time of day. All of this fits into Apple's signature philosophy of making technology invisible, dissolved into the surrounding space. According to Bloomberg sources, there is an internal deadline within the company, by the end of the current year, to present a working prototype of the device, even if only in a closed format for partners and investors. This does not mean an imminent market launch, but it confirms the seriousness of the intentions. Experts emphasize that such a TV fits perfectly into Apple's strategy amid slowing growth in the smartphone market. The company needs a new big product capable of becoming the next center of the ecosystem. At the same time, sources note that Apple deliberately avoids loud leaks and tightly controls the information field, which is why real details of the project remain hidden for now. But the very fact that several independent insiders are talking about the same thing forces this information to be taken seriously. If the rumors are confirmed, Apple may for the first time in many years not simply update an existing category, but create an entirely new format of content consumption, where the TV becomes not a screen, but an intelligent object within the home space. Siri will finally become a true chatbot. In iOS 27, the voice assistant will be reborn as a full-fledged AI based on Google Gemini. Search, files, images, and deep in-app interactions will all become part of the new version. The announcement is expected at WWDC in the fall. For Apple, this is the first real Siri upgrade in many years, and it seems the company does not plan to stop at just a chatbot inside Siri with the arrival of Gemini on Apple devices. According to the information, Cupertino is developing a wearable AI device the size of an AirTag, equipped with cameras, microphones, and an environment analysis system. The project is at an early stage, with a release expected no earlier than 2027. Boston Dynamics continues to actively develop and improve its famous robot dog Spot, transforming it from a walking platform into an increasingly autonomous, multifunctional assistant for industry and services. With the addition of the Spot arm robotic manipulator, the robot gains the ability not only to walk and collect data, but also to interact with the physical environment. Spot with a manipulator can pull, lift, move objects, open doors, turn valves, and perform other actions that were previously unavailable to the standard platform. To do this, it uses its entire body, combining leg and arm movements for balance and to reach the required positions. In addition, Spot receives improved sensors and cameras that help it better navigate space and collect data in color and in 3 dimensions, increasing the quality of visual perception and the robot's safety when interacting with people. In separate demonstrations, the robot also showcases dynamic whole-body manipulation, where Spot can independently move heavy objects such as tires, using integrated full-body control and reinforcement learning, representing a new level of intelligent motion control and interaction with object physics.